don't really understand why people order something so large if they aren't going to finish it. Once the bill is paid, everyone in your group stands up and walks towards the front door. Stepping outside, everybody hides under the canopy at the front of the shop. The sound of the rain is extremely loud. It's really hammering it down out here, you think to yourself. Taylor turns to speak to you. So we were thinking we may go and do something. Maybe the cinema or mini golf. Their sentence was cut short by the sound of thunder. You look off to the left and you can see the alleyway that leads to the swimming pool. You stand there shivering in the cold with your friends and realize that you have another choice to make. Do you decide to give your friends a rain check, quite literally, and tell your friends that you are going swimming instead, or do you join them?
So, same protocol as before. We can either socialize with our friends or we can go to the swimming pool and do a workout or swim. We're going to socialize with our friends. Gym has never really been my thing. So, let's go. So, we have same protocol. You kind of get the idea. So, we're just going to press the button to start the story.
You and your friends talk amongst yourselves and decide on what to do. You roll it down to an inside activity as the rain is coming down hard and there is a thunderstorm. You think about this very strange weather that you've been having recently. However, your thoughts go back to the idea that you can never predict summer rains. And as for the thunderstorm, you know that thunderstorms are more likely to happen in the summer anyway, so maybe this weather isn't adverse at all. It's got something to do with hot air and cold air, or was it high pressure and low pressure? You are brought out of your mind by Taylor, who nudges you and goes, "What about this?" and shows you their phone. Close by, there is an indoor go-karting track. You haven't done indoor go-karting for years, so it could be very fun. Everyone decides on going to the indoor go-karting track, and everybody runs to their cars. You run to your car and you jump in, looking outside of the windows to watch everyone else jumping into their cars. You buckle up and start the car. Each member of the group goes one at a time out of the car park, and eventually you follow at the back of the convoy. The rain is now coming down extremely hard, and it is making it almost impossible to see out of your windscreen. The speed of the group is reduced to going extremely slowly and cautiously through the rain and the traffic situation. It's really bad out there. The group crawls along slowly, and you turn on the radio. The warning has been issued. The rain has swept along the nation throughout the week, but today it is considered to be extreme. Public have been advised to stay indoors until the weather clears up and not to make any unnecessary trips. They are not required. You change the station to music. You've heard enough about the rain. In fact, you're in it, so hearing about it won't do you any good. You will be inside soon, and the weather may even clear up by the time you leave the track. The group slowly pulls into the car park, and you all run inside, shaking off the rain and the cold. You all look at each other and smile with anticipation. You can tell this is going to be a blast, and at least it will take all of your minds off of the weather. Taylor and Jordan walk up to the counter to deal with the booking, whilst you stand there with Riley, not speaking much, just standing in silence, waiting and thinking. You look up to the TV in the corner of the room, which is showing the news. You see protesters standing strong in a lashing rain, and you look at the temperature in the corner of the screen. 2 degrees Celsius. That is extremely cold for a day in the summer. Nevertheless, you ignore it. It will pass. The group gathers and throws on the overalls and helmets. You join an instructor who gives you the ground rules and safety instructions, and before you know it, you're walking onto the track. The stench of petrol is a little overwhelming, but it gives you excitement that you will be speeding around this track in a few minutes. You notice how it's just the 4 of you. Nobody else decided to come to the track today, so there will be some competitiveness. You all jump into your go-karts and begin, speeding around, overtaking each other and driving as fast as you can to beat your best times around the track, until the group was standing at the end an hour later, looking at the scoreboard. Jordan, the headstrong one, came in first. You came in second. Riley, the apologetically slow driver, came in third, but only because Taylor was spinning out way too many times to count, and eventually they were black flagged off the course in the 57th minute, earning a disqualification. The group leaves the building laughing and joking around, but as soon as the chill of the outside hits, the group falls silent. Looking around the car park, it wasn't raining anymore, but the water on the ground had frozen completely. The windshields of the cars were iced over. You can see your breath in front of your face. The group acknowledges this adverse weather, says goodbye, and you all make your way to your individual cars. You decide to go to the shop to get something because of the weather, and you begin to scrape your windscreen when Taylor walks over. "Hey, I have some de-icer if you want to use it on your windscreen," Taylor says. You have a decision to make. Do you either use Taylor's de-icer, or do you just use your scraper?
So once again, same protocol. We got 2 options. Either we can just use the scraper, or we can use the de-icer, which we're going to use the de-icer. And same thing again. We're going to shop for fire, so either coal or wood. But we're going to listen to the story first before we make any decisions. And here we go.
You enter the front door of the shop, again, shaking off the wet and the cold from outside. The weather had been extremely bad today, extremely adverse. You wander around the supermarket, buying things for the house, pizza for tonight, even though you already know there are things to eat in the fridge already, but you feel like you deserve a pizza. You walk into the home decor section and you pick up a few things that you like the look of. You meander over to the movies aisle and choose a movie that you might like to watch this evening. As you pass people, you can hear them talking amongst themselves. All of the people are complaining about the protesters. They are complaining about how loud they are, how obstructive they have been to their drives here, and now how bare the supermarket aisles are because of them. You look around and you do realize how bare the supermarket aisles are. All of the sandwiches have gone, all of the drinks have gone, all of the crisps have gone. All of these things that the protesters have taken so that they can stay out for as long as they possibly can. You feel like it's a little bit ridiculous. Why are they risking their lives for this protest? Why are they protesting in such awful weather? And why do they continue? It is a danger to themselves and anyone who happens to be driving in these conditions. As you round the next aisle, you realize that there is an annoying song playing on the shop radio, and you check your time on your phone. It's just after 6 p.m. No wonder. You think about the phenomenon that after 6 p.m., radio stations seem to start playing a lot of strange experimental music. It's like the radio station is the audible adaptation of Jekyll and Hyde. You wander through the aisles and past more bare shelves. You walk past a person who has cornered a retail assistant in one of the aisles. They happen to be complaining a lot about the bare aisles, and you can't help but feel sorry for the retail assistant. It isn't his fault. The number of times you hear, "Is there more in the back?" outnumber the amount of steps it takes to leave that particular aisle. You decide that this strange turn of weather is so ridiculous that you need to buy something to burn in your fireplace to keep your house warm. You walk over to the section that houses coal and wood, and you look between the bags. So many different companies offering coal and wood. You look up, and in front of you is the big window at the front of the shop. You struggle to see what is happening outside as it's getting a little bit dark, but you do see a very large group of people protesting. You see Claire from work leading them on the ice and trying their best not to slip. Absolutely ridiculous, you think to yourself. You look back down at the coal and the wood that is sitting in front of you. You wonder whether you should buy wood as well as coal. Will coal warm up the house enough? Arguably, it would be warmer if you had wood as well. That being said, you think about the protests that are going on today, and you think about how big your carbon footprint would be if you were to burn both wood and coal. You look between the coal and the wood, deciding. Do you buy coal for your fire, or do you buy coal and wood?
And okay, so the same sort of protocol. Either we can buy coal or coal and wood. I'm freezing cold. I don't know about you guys, but so we're going to buy coal and wood to keep ourselves warm. Traveling home snow. That's a bit bizarre, isn't it? Because it's the middle of July. Well, let's listen to the audio and see.
As you approach the counter, your eyes are drawn back to the window that leads outside, and you can see a big group of protesters stumbling through the dark towards the main protest place. And to make things worse, bizarrely enough, it has even begun snowing. You think about how hard it is going to be to travel home in the snow. You've driven in the snow a handful of times, and each time it has been moderately less disastrous than the last time. However, by no means are you used to it. You begin placing your items one by one onto the conveyor belt. They begin their slow crawl, their destination being a shopping assistant with a face like a stone, completely frozen in the brink of despair. When you finish unloading your shopping, you walk over to the counter and you give them a smile, to which they respond with the classic British half smile, smiling with their mouth but not the rest of their features. When your shopping eventually completes its journey into its bags, you stand at the shop entrance and you look outside. You decide that you're going to head to the bus shelter to check the bus times, just in case. Because a bus is more durable than a car is, and it would be less treacherous to travel. You step out of the shop, and the cold hits you. It is snowing so hard that you are unable to see too far in front of you. Eventually you make it to under the bus shelter, and you look up at the bus time.